this is going to be a very large batch, so I'm using a lot of ingredients here. To start off with, I've got a kilo of good quality ground beef mince. I've got about 300 grams of mushrooms, good quality beef stock, 1 kilo of brown onions, and the herbs I'm using: bay leaves, which are important, oregano, or as the Americans like to call it, oregano, basil or basil leaves, and parsley. I've also got a can of diced tomatoes, and I've also got 800 grams of concentrated tomato puree, because this is going to be a very rich recipe. I've also got, I won't be using all of it, but I'm going to be using approximately 1.5 glasses of red wine, a good sweet red wine. This one's Penfolds Canunga Hill Cabernet Merlot. And the oil I'm going to be using is an Australian olive oil. I buy Australian olive oil and Australian products as often as I can, because I like to support the local economy. And if you're in the United States, you can get a good quality Californian olive oil. I'm sure they're available. And in Europe you can go for, I know, Italian or Spanish. But yeah, if you don't know of a local supplier, by all means support your local economy by buying local. That way the money stays local, doesn't go overseas. What you're also going to be needing for this is a large frying pan, which is quite deep, as you see here. That's going to be, to start off the cooking, you're going to be using that. But afterwards, either a deep saucepan or a pot, or a rice cooker. This rice cooker has the slow cooking option on it, so it doesn't just cook rice, it is multifunctional, because I will be transferring all the ingredients into this and slow cooking it for approximately 2 to 3 hours. Sounds like a long time, but trust me, slow cooking it for that duration is the best thing to do. Okay, preheat your deep frying pan. Add a good glug of oil. No specific measurement there, just a good glug. And when it gets to temperature, put in your onions, and you can test by getting a small bit. And that's just starting to cook now, so that's a good temperature to put it in. You want to sweat that right down. You want to get these onions nice and soft. Right, as you can see here, the onions are browning nicely and they're nice and soft now. It looks about right now, so I'll take these onions off the heat and put them aside in a separate container. Okay, what I'm doing now is bringing the frying pan back up to temperature. A bit more oil. By leaving a few bits of onion in there, you can tell when it's hot because the onion starts to cook. Okay, this is half of the meat. What I'm doing, I've broken it up and I'm just browning it. Once that's been cooked, I'll transfer that into the bowl from the rice cooker, and then I'll cook up the second kilo of meat. So now, just got to add the second lot. Okay, while that's cooking, to the other meat, I want you to add 1 tablespoon of oregano, okay, 1 tablespoon of basil, and 1 tablespoon of parsley. Now I want you to grab a handful of bay leaves, add in your mushrooms, now remember this is my recipe. You can add in corn, peas, carrots, absolutely anything you want, or you can leave out the mushrooms, leave out the bay leaves. You can try it like this and then adjust it according to personal taste. And transfer across the second batch of meat. Like I said, this is going to be a large batch. I will be sticking a lot of this in the freezer. Okay, that's the beef stock. Now add in your concentrated tomato paste. Now the fun thing is a good 1.5 cups of red wine. Oh, I wish you could smell this. This is great. Adding that wine really gave it a bit of oomph to the meal. What I'll do, slow cook, 2 hours. So the only thing to do now is have some wine and wait. It's a good drop.
At the end of a long, tiring day, travelling through the dry country, it's great to find a campsite like this. After the heat and the dust, it's almost as if nature's decided to play a bit of a trick. It's a perfect spot for a base camp for the next few days' work.
Are pretty much the same, and at that time of year when they were here, it was wet season. So all of this dead grass here would have been green and upstanding and producing little edible nuts underneath the mud. In fact, that stuff there is called water chestnut, and you can eat it. As well as that would have got these things here, which are little mud mussels. Cook them up and eat them as well. Out here, they've got the water lilies. And even when they're not producing bulbs, which are edible, you can eat the young leaves and the shoots and the whole lot. Maybe they know that because it's survived.